First off is the first comment of people saying you're doing something in bopping or bopping style or what is bopping is whatever I do is bopping. Whatever another person does that looks like something I did or do in my style, and I'll tell you what style is, that's why it's so different, is called bopping. So bopping in itself, in real fact, outside of whatever I do, there's no such thing. I'll repeat that. There's no such thing as bopping outside of what I don't do. Simple as that. Everything I do is bopping. And now let me tell you why that is though. So when I try to robot, which I did not create, I do it differently, innovatively, than the other people who do it. And that means I look different. That means it's my style. My style of roboting, I didn't create robot, became my name robot. Like, oh, that's Andre's robot. But my name, though it's Andre, I was called, trying to become a robot, Boppin Andre. Get it? Robot. Bopping is short for robot. If you like robot, you call yourself in the old days Boppin, whatever your name was. So, what's your name?
Boppin.
Well, no, what is your name?
Javante.
Yeah, Boppin Javante. What's your name?
Rio.
Boppin Rio. Robot Rio. Boppin Rio. That would have been your name in the streets back in the day. Now, that name doesn't mean that everything you do is your style. There's plenty of people who dance who do not get a name for their style. That means if I do cha-cha, cha-cha's cha-cha. But if they're like, oh, I like how you do it, look different from somebody, they don't say, hey, that's Boppin Andre's Bopping cha-cha. That's not how it works. But that's how it worked with robot in the thing. My style of robot, so let me go through a few robots. There was the Michael Jackson robot, which everybody's seen on Dance Machine, that it moves across the floor, he takes his hand up, and he turns to left, right, and that's his robot. But it's fast, it's called Electric. So he goes, dancing, 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 doom, 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 I'm the machine, oh baby. So that's one version of robot, right? There's James Brown robot. If you go to look up James Brown and robot, if you catch him, he used to do what is called an electric push. So here you go. He didn't robot good, but he go. That's his coming up. That's why he learned how to do the slide backwards and that's his robot. Now, they have a dude called Slim the Robot who took the same thing of moving slow when he could go to the music. He did the same thing almost, but he was very flexible. Almost as Michael Jackson, but his robot had a clean version to move, slide version. And then their shields, of course y'all heard Shields Y'all Nails, their robot was very stiff, slow, neck out animated, you know, miss some stuff. Okay, my robot was based really closely to the Bay's robot. The Bay had robots that they eventually added music to, and they called it strutting. You know, as you hit to the music, and you do drill team movements. My robot was based on that, and there's a group that came from up to the Bay called Robot Brothers. If you guys watch Robot Brothers on the Gong Show, their robot was to the music. Dun, 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 turn, head, turn. It was very simple, but it's very simple to the music. And I like that, because it was giving me something to do. The only thing that's different between my robot is I didn't want to do a whole lot of fast movement unless I was broken. So my brain went early in to watching two people very influenced by. First was Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, the ticking lady on a box. And she came out of a box and all she did was stood still, no movement, but her hands in her head, and she turned around like a little pedestal. She just ticked. So that actually gave me ticking. So when other people say they started ticking, I laugh at them. No, nigga, I saw that on this girl, and I don't know who taught her, but it wasn't you guys. There you go. So he did that. But her robot was based on a tick. If she was on this music, that's what she would be doing. And she did it perfectly. There was nothing in her dive. She didn't have hits. She wasn't going boom, boom. She just ticked. She just get to the motion and stop. And then another cat was on HR Puffin stuff. HR Puffin stuff had a little guy who was the leader, and he tried to go with some witch, and he called himself the Mechanical Boy. So if you look up HR Brown, the Mechanical Boy, he go, oh, because he's very toy. Because I am, I never get rusty, I never get old. Because I'm a mechanical boy. And I like those two. So I put them together. And I went out there and said, oh, you roboting? And I go, boom, town, and I learned to repeat, because I'm a, tick, 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 mechanical boy. And people go, oh, his robot crazy. And that's how I started with robot. Now that robot, to them, because they didn't see my references, made me look different. I look different from all other robots. Some robot do this, some robot did this, some robot did this. I could do that, but me having steps, which means I didn't even create it. I didn't even innovate it. I just stole the steps. I liked what they did. I didn't create the robot at all. Like 1, 2, 2, 3, 2. And then I learned how to repeat, which means I'm not scared to repeat. And I'm not scared to get to the next one and repeat again. That became nice to watch. You see? That's tick, 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 tick. No, I'm sorry. I'll do something else. See, that's simple. So turning that into having moves to do was the next part to do. So I followed the Strutters and John Boy and the Robot Brothers, which means I could repeat, but I can also take my time to hit like on beat, which is a slow version of pop. Because if I speed the same thing up, which is what I did, it became my pop version. It didn't matter what I was doing no more. So, Robotic would be slow. Repeat. Slow. Learn to turn and step away from somebody. Robot, turn, slow. That became my style of robot. Now, a new dance started coming out, which was based on robot turned groovy, and we'll call that popping. Because in LA they called it popping, but it wasn't hitting at all, it was bouncing. This is still part of what is bopping and where it come from. I'm just giving you the story. That's why I said get it out, right? So popping to whatever the music was not a snap or a hit by nobody but nobody. Nobody. It was a bounce thing. So it don't matter. Any music is good. So if I'm gonna bounce to this, this is why you don't really know that when you see people dancing this way, you can look at them and say they must be getting ready to do boogaloo. Why? Because it's bouncing. And the whole idea of all Compton popping, even though it's puppet styles, it changed, but it comes from doing a version of the Boogaloos group routine. When the Boogaloos got out as individuals, they might do anything. Ha, yeah. But when they stepped in a group, it was first person go, second person go, they go together, he turns, that person turns, they bounce back, and they might go. It ain't hitting hard, it's just bouncing. Simple. Okay, I saw that when the individuals went out, that they did a whole lot of bouncing. There was a lot of old stuff they was doing. Hey. And I said, okay, I don't want to look like everybody. And when I first started, I looked like everybody too. So, same thing. But I said, I'm better at robot. So when you're a dancer, you usually put out your best thing. So, okay. I roboted just like everybody else, pop like everybody else, which is bouncing. And that turned into Compton Pop Lock. Bouncing turned into Compton Pop Lock. And what I mean by that is as they try to learn what to do with their hands and their feet, they started coming up with these routines, just like Strutters did. And the only thing that's different from a Compton popper and a Strutter is a Strutter doesn't pop or bounce. They hit, they stick it. It's like sticking it, they stick the hit. So if they went whoop and stick, 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 stick. And if you see him get snappy when he goes quicker, it looks quicker. So they stick it. Whereas pop lockers in Compton were on the bounce. They might do the same hand. Slower, they bounce. So I'm on the beat and I'm bouncing. All Compton poppers. All Compton poppers come from the same source. That is the Electric Boogaloos dance routine, of which the story is the Electric Boogaloos dance routine came from the Strutters up in the Bay, but they just added a bounce to it. Now let me tell you who added the bounce to that movie. A guy called Pistol Pete. The original Electric Boogaloos group was called the Electric Boogaloo Lockers. That's the original group name. And in their group, every person in the group had a different dance to master to challenge people. They had a roboter, they had a locker, Bopping was coming out, so they had somebody, whatever. And so the genius of Sam wasn't that he created everything, but he said, I'm gonna have a group to represent every dance that's out. If he had a group today, there would be flexers and crumpers in his group routine. There'll be Crumpin' David, Flex Master or something. That's genius. He was the only one at that point in his time that did that. For instance, when you talk about the original lockers, everybody in the group had to lock except for the robot. You had to be a locker except for the robot, because that preceded locker. But when he came, he said, well, if you can, I got a roboter, I got a locker, I'm in the Boppin, and this dude can tick and this dude can float. And so he made a genius group. But again, only one person in their group bounced. Who was that? Who bounced in their group, y'all think? Boppin Pete, Pistol Pete. And he was called Pistol Pete because he was too fast and didn't have no rhythm. I said that, that's right, I told you. He used to go too quick. He looked good because he went off rhythm. If he say, stay on the beat, 8 count, he didn't have that himself when he was starting. He did 1, 2, 3, he was already off. God damn. But he was fast, Pistol Pete. But his bounce became something that everybody could notice because everybody else was waiting their turn. They knew to wait their turn. The people in the Bay don't move until their turn is to go. And all the people in this group did this only when their turn. But he'd be in the 3rd, 4th person waiting to go. He waiting for his count. And he had to do this to keep his count. 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna go. And so he had a bounce, while everybody else just had a bounce to that motion. He had a groove bounce. I noticed that, so I said, I'm gonna start doing that. And so I'm a hurl for popping, and he was the first person I saw doing that out of a whole group who didn't do it at all, even when they considered doing a popping routine. So I credit Boppin Pete for bringing the bounce to the puppet, for bringing the bounce to the strut. I don't credit Boogaloo Sam for doing that, even though Boogaloo Sam brought choreography and style. He brought the circle, the motion, the moves. He had his own choreography. He did that, great. And Pete says, oh, he taught me everything, I got it from him. Okay, but that bounce was his handicap became something that you could watch and pick up on. That's where popping started. So I went back into the LA hood because those dudes from Long Beach coming to they came to Paramount, Linwood. They went to a lot of schools eventually coming up, but they was in the South. I'm an LA, South Central LA hood kind of guy. And when I seen them come to the school and had to dance, the robot dude, I could beat him because at that time I could even do shields, which means I could slow down and I didn't have to be playful. But I can also repeat and do tricks. So to me, he beat me with a thumb vibration, and I beat him with robot total. And all those dudes who tried to pop, they looked like they were sloppy robots, so I beat them, but they had 3 power moves. Backslide, the tidal wave, and a twister flex, which they used to do an old man twister flex then. Those 3 moves were power moves for popping back then, and nobody back then was popping good. Well, they were popping good because nobody else was popping. but their level was very low. Like you would think a kid's level low. So they had time to grow to get good. Even though they was like, oh, he the best popper, but it was very weak popping back then. So I thought it was sloppy popping, and I went back to my robot base. This whole move like John the Robot, and I sped it up to popping level, which then it became, I could hit by accident. That whole idea of the shakes and the hits became, oh, he popping or he hitting, but I wouldn't bounce. Or I'd cross my legs and go, oh, he hitting, but where's he hitting from? Well, not his arms, not his legs. Oh, I like his style. That's the first time. What's his name? Boppin Andre. But popping was coming out. What is he doing? Oh, I said I was popping. Oh, you popping, Dre? No, I'm Boppin Andre with a B. Oh, Boppin Andre. No, Boppin Andre with a B. And they said it again. I didn't say nothing to him. Okay, good. My name is now changed from Boppin Andre to Boppin Andre with a B, popping with a B, because somebody couldn't hear me at a party. The reason why I didn't stop that, though, because a group was really funky out called Parliament Funkadelic, and they had an album that everybody, including Uncle Jam's Army, was using. And on that album, there was a special song, still used today, and it says, "Where'd you get your bop from?" Just coincidental, my name was now Boppin Andre, and there's a song talking about where you get your bop from. Yeah. On guard, defend yourself, which means it was battle. Yeah, where'd you get that bop from? And I'm going out to the party like, oh, who's that? Boppin Andre. And they put that song on. I put my song on, Boppin Andre. And I had a Compton pop now with a mechanical hit, not this Android stuff. That developed later. I had I had the bounce, but took the bounce away. I had the idea of Compton choreography, which is drill team. I had all kind of drill team routines with my hands. So my hits was, I could come out and be like a drill team person. And they were like, oh, hell, what's he doing? Oh, I like that style. Oh. Now it became Boppin Andre's style. That's Bopping style. I'm popping or roboting, but in my style. That's all it was. But I'm still roboting, which I didn't create, but it's my style of robot. I'm still popping. I didn't create, but it's my style. The only thing I brought to it was that shaky hit. So while everybody was bouncing, and now I had a snap, they're like, oh! Now people seeing the snap, and they go, what is he hitting with? Now they go home and practice a snap. It became snappy legs. So instead of the bounce, it became, yeah, I can hit, I can bounce my legs. And then they go, I can snap my arm, and I can hit my head. So all those different hits became people trying to do what they saw me do with a snappy hit. Snappy hit. In fact, Compton poppers, people who started hitting really hard with their leg became jack poppers. If you ever go to Pomona, you'll do a dude called Stretch. He pops original puppet, but with very hard snaps of his legs. That's called jack popping. And now, the people who, in today's age, who don't jack pop, they do what is called banging, which is what Slick Dog and the G-Stylers came out, which means they're hitting, but you're trying to hit extra hard. And then you wave slow. Boom. So that's called banging. But it's really just another emulation of trying to get this controlled hit. But they want to do it to the max. That's it. Merry Christmas. Now, and the reason why I say that now to you guys is if I was a driver and you was a driver, I didn't create the car. I also don't create driving. But if I did swerves and drifts, they might call it bop style. I got that bop style drift. Okay, that's because I did it a different way. And just so you know, people don't really know what style is. If you ask everybody what style is, they couldn't tell you. I want to see the person who can tell me what style is. If one of y'all can tell me what style is?
Your style?
No. I got my style. I can tell you the style. Robot has got a name because it's a style.
Yeah.
It's stiff. Puppet got a name because it's got a style. It's loose. Boogaloo got a style because it's like puppet, very closely. In fact, if you did puppet moves, you can call Boogaloo puppet-oriented moves or influence moves. Huh? It's, innovation, again, is when you add something that you either couldn't do or you really try to figure it out. That's innovation is not what people think it is. Innovation is not creativity. Innovation is learning to make do. Like for instance, if I didn't have a car key and I used a stick to get my car started, I'd be an innovator. Yeah, if I could make a key, that'd be great. If I can't, I can still get it hot-wired, that's an innovation. You ain't creating shit, you just learned how to get the car started, that's the function. So I'm saying that people don't know what styles are. So you got people who say in popping that there's wave style. Is there such thing as a wave style? Y'all heard it 1,000 times? Come on, y'all the one learning from people. You do a lot of waves. Is there a wave style?
Is there a style of waving?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the styles of waving?
The styles?
Yeah. You said there's a styles of waving, right?
Yeah.
Is there a wave style or are there styles of waving?
There's styles of waving.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You heard that. I want to hear what you said. So.
Tracing, snaking, cobra.
Come on, Winnie. You got more than that, right? What about liquid waves?
Liquid's a style, yeah.
Liquid's a style.
Yeah, containing liquid, continuous waving.
Continuous waving. Okay. So a style is something that takes on a function of itself. So I'm gonna do this the easiest way I can with my baseball cap hat. You know, there's a lot of hats in the world. Hats are usually called models. You know what I mean? Like you have a car with a different model. A Porsche is different from a Volkswagen. A Volkswagen is different from a Ford. That's called a model. The stylings on models is whether they are sharp or curvy now. Like they'll say, oh, we got nice styling, molding, whatever. Okay, with a hat, this baseball cap, just please remember this, color is not a style. Black does not make this a black style hat. Color is not a style. Blue is not a style. But this baseball cap, we all got baseball cap. You have a different model hat, not style, but they do have that in different styles. But
yeah.
Color is not a style, but watch this. If I'm wearing this, see how you wearing this hat? We all wearing our hat differently now. You got to put your hat on different because you got a baseball cap on too. Put your hat on any way different than us three. We all got baseball cap, good. This is a style, this is a style, this is a style, and that's a style. We all got baseball caps, it's all the same cap. We are wearing them differently. To wear them differently means they function differently. Maybe where I'm come, this is me being coolio, yeah, boy, I'm crazy. And his could be, oh, dude, I'm on a fast track. I got to get somewhere. And the next dude like, no, man, I'm just a regular guy. This is what I do. This is the way it's supposed to be worn. And the other dude like, hey, man, I'm kind of cool, right? They got another dude who might wear it really low. Man, I ain't got nothing to say to y'all. What's up, fool? They say, so styling is how you do something. So in dancing, the choreography could be the same. So if I just did this, that's great. But if I did it this way, compared to doing it this way, that's a different style. That's what makes style, not the move, the style. Waves is not the style, but they got people who got really liquidy, fast or tremorly or vibrating. That's what makes the style. So that's why I say people, oh man, I got wave style. Nigga, waving itself is not the style unless you show me your style in a wave.
So what word would you use to describe it? Be a mode of movement?
I call it because I'm old, I call it your transference. I call it, that's how you translate from one movement. I call it your transition.
But some
I call
people,
it a glitch. Waves are glitches in itself.
So
it's an effect.
When people say waving style, what are they trying to say?
They're trying to say I love waves so much that I only do waves. That's what they're trying to say. But waving itself is not a style. So they can come out and say I'm a Pomona G-style waving, or Skywalker them say, dude, I'm liquid wave style waving. They still waving, but they can say, oh, my style is different from your style. Not just the movements, but the way it looks when it's done.
Yeah. So waving is a dance on its own. It's a dance form.
It's a form. It's an effect.
It's a form, yeah.
It's an effect.
Effect.
It's only an effect. Just like slow motion isn't a style, but there are styles of slow motion. You know, and there might just go slow. There's not too many of them. There's not too many of them that people are using.
And so what would you say the umbrella is then? If it's all effects?
If it's all effects, if it's going to be an effect, if it's supposed to be an illusion, the umbrella is mine. Simple as that. Can't get out of it. We can call it street dance, this and that, but if you're trying to robot, that means you're trying to imitate and illustrate a robot. You're trying to tickets, you got a broken robot that can't move in time frames. Animation, you're trying to look like you're a claymation or a creature. Okay, it's all the same.
It's all mine.
It's all mine.
Yeah. That's the truth.
That's true. That's it. Don't mean to hurt people's feelings. Yeah. So that's all it really comes down to is there's no real bopping style hit. My hit, people don't even know what it is. They made my hit. It's with the chest. Oh, you gotta hit like that. Nah, that's not how you gotta hit. It's just, they don't know the difference. And I'm not the one, until lately, telling everybody how I hit.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. So when I see them, I know they're influenced by me, but I know they don't always know it. It ain't that they don't look good at what they're doing either. Innovation is what they became. They became innovators. I think it was this. This is how I did it. That's how I learned it. This is what I thought about. Okay, great, you innovated. And I tell them that. It could be better than what I'm doing. Oh, let me give you an example. I'm the first that I know of tutter. First tutter. I'm not the best at it at all.
Wow.
I changed tut from what I saw someone do. The guy was Reggie Washington from Washington High, which is an extended, everybody did extended tucks. And I said, I'm gonna take that tut, then I'm gonna turn it, and I'm gonna go in. I did the first box tut. I did the first drop box tut with some movements.
Wow.
I did the first, let's make that a character and something to do. And I studied that to be able to say my body can move this way to get that. Even to do twister flex and turns and all that with it. But people eventually got to the point where they like box tuts and movements, and they went way farther than I'd ever go. Better than me. They innovated beyond where I'm at. I still can say I influenced it. Sometimes they'll know it, sometimes they won't. But I'm not the one who created their influence.
Take care, brother. Yeah.
I'm also the one who took the tidal wave. So waving, 3 waves were out. 3 waves were out when I was young. So I'm 16, we talking 76, 77, and 78. We talking 3 waves. Disco Danny wave. Modern dance wave. Girls be going, ooh, in the modern dance classes. And I don't know the other Hawaiian waves if they were out now, but it wasn't in the streets where I was at. And the tidal wave, the popping, go back wave. I'm the first one who didn't walk backwards with the tidal wave. I'm the first one who said, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm the first one who said, I'm gonna bring it up from my feet and do that. I'm the first one who said, I'm gonna take my hands and go like that. Everybody else was doing this or this. I said, nah, what if I wanted to do this? And then when they said, I'm gonna get that, I can get that, they started doing this. I said, yeah, but I'm doing it from this hand to that hand. Then I said, I'm gonna do this and make it go backwards. And then I said, I'm gonna make it go forward. Then I'm gonna make it go from my top of my head in a circle to my feet back up. I'm the first one I know that did any of those. That means I innovated those first, and then other people can take them. And then I said, I'm the first person I know who could do the double wave. Y'all better watch this, is good. From my feet to my head, from my shoulders to my down, and I do them at the same time.
Oh.
That's not easy to do. You can try that one.
What would you say motivated your innovation? Like what was making you try it?
Ego.
Oh, that's a good question.
It's simple. I wanted to be able to dance in front of a crowd, get a reputation on the street, and be safe. But it's really ego. It's pride and egos. If I wanted to talk to girls, I didn't feel like I looked as good as the other dude, like you. See how y'all working? I wanted to be able to get her attention. I had to go out there and dance. But I couldn't dance. Since I couldn't dance, I had to figure something I could do. And it just so happened, people love stupid robots. So if you go out there and do this, just go down the crowd, they go, ha, they love you. Oh my goodness, they love you. They just come and give you, oh, I love you. I was a very good robot. You don't even gotta be high level or nothing. Just do this. And they go, see, it works. That's some good stuff. So a stupid robot will help you get in any circle and get liked by anybody. The problem is dancers have egos too. So once you get out, some other dancer look at you do the robot and go, oh, you can't do robot real, and he'll jump out with a more serious robot. And then you have to be able to come back on that, hold your ground. You come out with a wave, and you think you was having fun. Woo! And then other do it, no, nigga. You be like, oh shit, ooh, I gotta do something else. And that's what ego does. Ego helps you dig into yourself to get better. And if you got a good ego, it will make you get better. In fact, if they hate you, you got revenge in your brain to show them you could do better. I can do what you could do if I learn it. Oh, don't let me go home and start studying, dude. I'll come back. That's the fact with everybody. That's everybody.
Yeah.
Damn. And so would you say, like for all freestyle dancers out there, right? There's always this kind of question of like, what can I do with this, right?
Yes.
What can I, what?
You know why it is?
Jobs or, you know.
No. So every dancer is not, when they first start dancing, looking to make a career out of it.
Exactly.
They're in it to say, can they do what is commonly being accepted by other people? You learn every move based on what everybody else is doing. But later you get attention and somebody go, if he could do it, and you even probably say, if that dude can do it, I can do it. And you be like, if he making money, I should be able to make money. And people are like, man, what you gonna do with your dancing? You better go over there and work like a McDonald's, or, man, I'm just gonna be a dancer. And if you don't make no money, be like, well, I'm just dancing because I love it. That's all. I just love dancing because I love it. And you know, you may not make no money, but if you get to the point where you start deciding what can you make money with, and you start applying it, you find that there are people who will pay you for workshops. I recommend anybody who want to make real change in dancing, instead of daydreaming, you're gonna have to do one of two things, literally. One is to just go to any place and start a workshop. Workshop, charge $10 per person, teach them what you can, make a group routine. There's two ways to teach. One is do choreography, the way you see the pros do it, and just say we just gonna copy that and do it together like a workout. And the other way is to come up with your own routine and make them all do the routines. But they'll still pay for those lessons. And if you get 40 students at $10, you got $400 in that hour or that 2 hours, whatever. That's one good way to make money, period. No question about it. If you can get more money, own your own studio, but that's still an overhead that's more than you just teaching or workshopping. Now, the other way to make your good change in dancing is to become an event planner, which is harder for most people to do, but they don't get it that an event planner, even today, if you get 100 people show up and pay you $10 to come in just to dance, and you dancing and letting them dance, you still made $1,000. So if you can make a combination of those two, throw your dances on your own and do workshops, which is what they're doing, attempting to like get together and just cipher right now, but eventually it might turn into, hey, we're gonna go over here and get a studio, we're gonna come over here and dance, pay $10 and jam all night. There you go. That's the only two ways really to do it. They got people who do get booked to be judges, and they got people who go to contests. Contests is potential money, but it is reputation game. You may not win them, but you still can gain reputation. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all there is.
They got people who got lucky. Cool Boy danced for some people who are, LA, Snoop Dogg's and Sugar Freeze and shit like that. He got paid. And the first person I ever known who got paid real good was Pakalika, who ended up dying. He was in a band that let him just be
Cottonmouth Kings.
Cottonmouth Kings.
Yeah.
This is a dude I'm talking about getting wherever but try to remember, them being a concert is like a music rock band, and they would just go and tour, smoke up and get on stage, and people gave him money. And he was on there to say, I'm gonna be your visual, I'm gonna pop whatever I can do, and he got paid for that. He was the first person I know who made good money as a dancer.
As a freestyler. Yeah.
I'm talking about, I ain't in another person's group or battling or nothing.
Backup dancer, nothing.
No, I'm just dancing, that's it.
Yeah.
So, that was his constant. That was a normal thing. He made good money. He made a real potential of whatever the band would make. So if they made 10,000, he made 2. And if they made 20,000, he made whatever, whatever. Yeah. That was a real income, I figured. That person could pay me.
Yeah.
For real.
Damn.
That it? We good?
Yeah.